Today, I'm taking the world's longest first class flight for 17 hours from Dubai all the way over to New Zealand. I'll show you exactly what it's like, from relaxing in the in-flight lounge, the bed, fine dining, and of course the shower spa, not to mention the eye-watering ticket price of $10,000. But today you're joining me on this 9,000-mile adventure across the world. So let's pick up our story on the way to the airport at 7 AM. For first class passengers, Emirates provide a chauffeur service from anywhere in the UAE, though this morning this will only take 10 minutes from downtown Dubai. I'm dropped at the Emirates Premium Departures at Terminal 3. This is only for business and first class passengers, and as a result, it's almost always quiet and super efficient. As you've seen, I'm flying to New Zealand, so there are a few additional checks needed in order to get my boarding pass. Thankfully for once, I'm prepared and have my NZ ETA, which is essentially a visa waiver for certain countries. With everything approved and my boarding pass issued, let's head over to security. Stamped out and with security procedures done, let's head to the first class lounge. This is located on level 1 of Concourse A and holds the title for the world's largest airport lounge. Where to even start here? It's actually too big if anything, and achieves an almost deserted feel. Highlights include a nap room for longer layovers, a cigar lounge which has a real members club vibe to it, and of course where we're heading, the restaurant. Choose from either a buffet or a la carte dining at any time of day or night. I'm led over to my reserved table and my place is set. Little touches like a fresh rose make it even more special. As you can see, the menu is outstanding for a lounge, but I instead want to save myself for the onboard cuisine, so opt for a pastry and fresh cappuccino. I think I'm going to need quite a few of these caffeine hits to get me through the next 17 hours in the sky. It suddenly dawns on me, my flight leaves from Concourse C, which I'm told is a near 30-minute transfer. Crikey, I better get a move on. First up, I need to take the train under the taxiway. These come every 3 minutes or so. Unfortunately, it's not this straightforward, as I have a further 20-minute walk. This is certainly something to watch out for if you're flying on Emirates out of Dubai.
A few minutes later.
Here we are then, gate C18 to Auckland. There's also quite the commotion at the gate, as there's select additional passenger screening, which has bottlenecked the entire area. Around 25 minutes of waiting and the horde of people, I finally make it to the jet bridge. First and business class are all on the upper deck, so get a separate gangway. It also provides some pretty neat views of our 3-year-old Airbus A380, and incidentally, new home for the coming 17 hours. Just before we get on board and explore the opulence of Emirates First Class, it's time for a quick word from today's video sponsor, HelloFresh. It will be no surprise to any of you that I'm a big fan of good food. The problem is good food is time consuming, especially with my busy schedule of travel, but thanks to HelloFresh, it's possible to get fresh quality ingredients delivered directly to your door, ideal for when I'm back from a long haul trip and not wanting that expensive grocery store visit or an unhealthy takeout. You'll love how fast, easy and affordable it is to whip up a restaurant quality meal right in your own kitchen, allowing you to take control of your time and budget. With over 35 weekly recipes, they have the options you're looking for to help achieve your New Year's goals. Choose calorie smart and carb smart recipes, or even customize select meals by swapping proteins or sides. It's comforting to know you'll always get top quality with HelloFresh. Ingredients travel from the farm to you in less than 7 days. Use my link to go to hellofresh.com and use code POG TREKJAN21 for 21 meals plus free shipping. Once you click, my description will live update to count up the purchases. Welcome on board then. Quite unlike the usual reality of boarding a plane, this feels remarkably different. Each suite offers outstanding privacy, with a whole host of features, which we'll go through in just a second. There are no overhead bins, but instead there's ample space in front of you for carry-on luggage. Now, I've been fortunate to fly this product before, but it still has that wow factor every time. To continue the wow factor, let's indulge in a pre-departure glass of 2012 Dom. It's a punchy champagne to serve as a staple, retailing at $250 a bottle. In fact, Emirates just signed an exclusive deal with LVMH, which will mean it's the only airline serving Moet, Dom and Veuve Clicquot from 2024. I'm also offered a newspaper. I've mentioned before I really value this tradition. Like many, I consume almost all my content online now, so I find it a real novelty to skim a broadsheet once in a while. To complement this already impressive pre-departure provision, I'm offered an Arabic coffee, which I absolutely love. It does take a little getting used to. The coffee beans are roasted differently and spices such as cardamom are added. Let me know if you've tried it before. With that, it's time to push back from stand. So let's get my seatbelt on as the safety video begins to screen.
Welcome aboard. Your baggage should be securely stowed in the overhead lockers. For takeoff and landing, laptops need to be switched off and...
It's a busy day today at DXB, but in Terminal 3 you'll only ever spot wide-body Emirates aircraft, and that's simply because, rather uniquely, Emirates doesn't operate any narrow-body jets. It's time for takeoff as we hurtle down the runway and into the sky. I can't quite fathom how long this flight is. Whilst it's the longest first-class flight, it's not actually the longest flight in the world, it's the 6th. Top of the table goes to Singapore Airlines A380 to New York's JFK, however only business class is offered on this route. Our flight will take roughly 17 hours to fly 8,823 miles over to Auckland, New Zealand. It's not long before we reach altitude and the hallmark Emirates First Class service springs into action. Let's take a look at the wine list, which is among the best in the sky. Though me being me, I'll stick with another glass of Dom. This is served with some warm mixed nuts. I make it seat tour time. For context, the aircraft we're on, the Airbus A380, is split over 2 decks. The lower has 426 economy seats, whilst the upper deck has 14 first class suites, plus 76 business class seats. Now I've chosen seat 3 Kilo, my pick as a solo traveller. If you're travelling as a couple, the middle is also a great pick, but on a flight of this length, I'd really regret not being able to see out of the window. Perhaps that's just me. The suite is a real Instagrammable dream. Yes, it may not be to everyone's taste, with the walnut faux wood, gold and light cream leather, but if you take it as what it is, an opulent overindulgence, I feel it's still mighty impressive. You'll likely have seen this by now, the motorised minibar which pops out at the touch of a button, and of course the Hollywood-style vanity mirror, which also reveals a whole host of amenities, moisturisers, facial mist, and pillow spray to aid rest. Naturally, there's a writing kit for all those notes of inspiration you're bound to pen en route. There's a snack basket, which is wild given the amount of food on offer, but hey, it's there if you want it. Everything in the suite is controlled by this tablet, which releases at the touch of a button. Of course, the central hub of your suite is this huge TV, which features many thousands of movies, TV shows and audiobooks thanks to the Emirates IFE. All this seat touring has really worked up an appetite. Let's take a look at the menu. This is impressive and extensive. You most definitely will not be going hungry on this flight. So I've opted to go for dinner in an effort to adapt to the New Zealand local time. My tray table is released at the touch of a gold button and is promptly set out ready for food service. It's truly an impressive effort at 40,000 feet in the air. Initially, I'm offered an amuse-bouche. This is off menu, but I believe it's a mozzarella pearl with basil and chopped tomatoes, and secondly melon wrapped in parma ham, complemented by balsamic vinegar. For my drink I opt for a DC, but unfortunately Emirates only serve Pepsi, so it's a Diet Pepsi for me today. Sorry, it's just not as good. Now the party's really starting, let's put my seat into the dining position, and yes, you see correctly, it's caviar time with all the trimmings. Let's load up my blini, first with creme fraiche, shaved egg yolk, finely chopped onions and egg whites. Oh, and most importantly, a generous helping of caviar. This is the way to have caviar in my opinion. Mind you, I'm sure many of you are still not sold on eating fish eggs. Next up, a personal favourite, the Arabic meze. Emirates go to town on this, and for good reason, being a Middle Eastern carrier, the pinnacle being the mahamara, and of course hummus. Crikey, you lost me there for a minute. Now for my main. I opt for the duck today, so sorry you can't tick steak off your bingo cards, but this really jumped out as an option for me. Served with perfectly steamed broccolini. It's a hit, and it's gotta be my new favourite Emirates main course. To finish, naturally my sweet tooth is back for the chocolate fondant, served with raspberry coulis and a mascarpone cream. It's decadent, rich, and, well, divine. So it's time to boot the Tims off and reveal my NASA socks. Thanks, Mum. Emirates provides some rather comfy furry slippers, which will be the perfect vehicle to glide over to the shower spa. Yes, you hear correctly. Located on the forward upper deck, just before the stairs down to economy, there are 2 lavs with showers. This until recently was the only way you could shower on a commercial plane, but Etihad are bringing back their A380s, so it's something I'll have to try later on this year. It's certainly one of the largest airborne lavatories, and a far cry from BA's cubicle. Oh, and the all-important throne is hidden under a leather trapdoor. So what's in my Emirates tote bag, you rightly ask? Well, first up, it's moisturising pyjamas, which are the comfiest in the sky. And a Bulgari amenity kit. It's stocked full of thoughtfully chosen products, such as deodorant and shaving foam, something that's rarely included. The highlight, of course, is the Bulgari perfume, which is priced at, well, a fortune. Let's go and enjoy a shower in the sky then. You get a total of 5 minutes of running water, enough to wash your hair, but it's recommended to stop and start so you don't run out halfway through. Rather concerningly though, during my shower, the fasten seatbelt sign illuminates. Not really much I can do about that at present though. Oh, and another side note, the floor is heated, so expect toasty toes when you get out the shower. Now, it totally makes sense to have a hairdryer, but I still find it a hilarious feature in the sky. Now to spray some of that abhorrently priced, but divine smelling Bulgari fragrance, brush my teeth and head for bed. In my absence, the lovely FA has made up my suite for sleep, complete with a fluffy duvet, mattress topper and soft pillow. Let's get those sweet doors shut then. It really does become a proper nest once you've shut these. Now I'm distracted by this movie menu. Okay, I guess given the length of flight, why not snuggle up in bed, get some salted popcorn and watch a movie. Now this really is the life. Finally, about an hour later, I think it's time for some sleep. Confusingly, the entire flight is in daylight, so I'll need to get those window shades shut and off to the land of Nod.
The next day.
I've had a solid 9 hours of sleep, and in fact the most I've ever slept on board a plane before, awaking to yet more daylight and the prospect of some breakfast. Somehow I've managed to get myself into the New Zealand time zone. Breakfast looks solid, so after placing an order, it's time to go check out one of this plane's party pieces. The lounge and bar located at the very back of the upper deck. This is Emirates' newly designed lounge, and it's a fab place to be, accessible to both business and first class guests. There are even seatbelts here, so if there's turbulence, there's no need to return to your seat. In contrast, this is what their old bar looks like, which is still on a large percentage of their aircraft. Naturally, there's a lot to choose from spirits, champagne and cocktails. However, first class guests can continue to enjoy Dom back here, so naturally this is my choice. This really is surreal, and for a moment you can forget you're even on a plane. Well, I guess these views somewhat give it away. With that, I'm reminded my breakfast is about to be served, so let's head back through business class to my suite up front. Now recently, Emirates started offering unlimited caviar, and who am I to turn down caviar for breakfast? Wow, it's like being back on the Orient Express again. Now for the main event, pancakes, served with an orange compote and mascarpone accompaniment. And of course we'll polish off proceedings with a fresh cappuccino. Believe it or not, it's not all that long until we come into land. This flight has literally flown by, so it's time for a quick change of clothes. As much as I'd like, I don't think I'd get away with wearing my moisturising PJs around the terminal. Let's get those Tims back on then, and complete the NZ formalities for entry. And with that, finally, after 17 hours in the sky and nearly 9,000 miles travelled, land comes into view. This was honestly one of the best flights I've taken to date, and taking such a product on an ultra long haul flight, you really get to utilise all the facilities. Saying that, there are still a number of items I'd have liked to try off the menu, but hey, I guess it's a reason to come back. So in terms of cost, this flight was pricey. It was near impossible to get miles availability, and even for a cash ticket it sold out weeks in advance, leaving me with one option of booking cash, and not wanting to pay $10,000, I have to find a workaround. I can originate my journey in Warsaw, Poland, flying first class on Emirates Boeing 777 and then connect in Dubai for a grand total of $5,800. Yes, it's not cheap, but again this includes all transfers, 5-star accommodation in Dubai and my original positioning flight. For now, I'm going to go and explore the beautiful New Zealand, which is also a new country for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all again next time.